Hello everybody, it's me GhostCritic with a extra weekend video for your viewing pleasure, and I got tagged. Tag videos are very much like Chinese whispers. I never know who started it, and I'm never sure what exactly it was that we were meant to do from the very beginning. I only know that I was tagged by LahRasa and that we are to talk about our favourite Batman sequence. From what I've read between the lines is you pick one of your favourite kind of pages or strips within a comic book of Batman, which is a phenomenal task in and of itself, because there have been so many Batman stories, and my kind of history with Batman pre the New 52 and maybe a couple of years previous to that, because I did start collecting some Batman-ish issues, was that I collected everything in trade, and I picked and chose from various areas and times and eras of the Batman history. So it's my kind of knowledge of Batman pre the New 52 is patchy to say the least. Not that I don't enjoy a good Batman story, but I don't know if I have per se a favourite Batman sequence, but there are some that stand out to me, and my choice could be quite controversial because it wasn't a particularly well liked series, but I thought it was wonderful. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I'm going to talk about All-Star Batman and, of course, the Boy Wonder. Just a little bit of context before I go into the panels. All-Star Batman, this was the first series from DC under the All-Star banner. It came out in 2005 and was unfinished by 2008. There have only been 10 issues of this that came out. Written by Frank Miller, penciled by the great Jim Lee. And DC said this was set in its own continuity. However, Frank Miller has always said that this is more akin to the Dark Knight continuity, that kind of universe within the Bat history. And you can tell, even from the very first issue, that this is Frank Miller putting his Sin City stamp on Batman. And I think this was one of the things why this series of comics was, I want to say, hated, reviled in such a strong way, because it was a very non-traditional way of interpreting the Bat. However, I thought it was a fantastic, very distilled look at Batman, you know, in his essence. And yes, it was kind of a reach. Yes, the Sin City stamp there was for all to see. It wasn't kind of like subtly done at all. This was a Gotham completely devoid of morals, and the innocence of Gotham were used and abused. But I just love this series. There was something about it. It was, although, you know, it had the Sin City feel of it, it was a fresh look at Batman, and a truer look at Batman, if I'm being honest, because given that, you know, all through history, the Bat history, you've had this idea of Batman has never drawn that line into becoming the kind of the psychopath, the insane villain that he comes up against. But given that he's been through all that, that wall should have broken down by now and become what he has fought. And in a way you see this in the Batman All-Star series, that this is a guy that has this singular obsession now. He has no time for anyone else. It is the mission and the mission alone, and won't be tied if you cross him or get dragged into his war. So before I show you the two panels, I'm supposed to tag some more people. I don't know how many people have been tagged. I've seen a few of these videos knocking around and watched a few of them. However, I've not yet seen, and I'm very surprised no one has tagged him yet. It is Joshua Hayes. Bat Josh, get your reading eyes around this, and I'd love to see what panels that you pick out. Jean-Paul Peter, love seeing his videos, so I'd like to see some more from him. And also let's try Mercy's little show. I think you read some back titles along the way. It'd be interesting for a newer reader, and see what you've got to show as one of your favourite bat panels. So I'm going to turn the camera around and let's have a look what I thought was my favourite Batman sequence. So here we have the first set of panels that I really liked, and goes back to what I was talking about, Frank Miller really kind of distilling the objective, the main focus of the Batman. And here we see a kind of the conflicted Batman having this inner monologue in his mind, realizing that he's kind of torturing this poor boy that has literally just lost his parents, having been murdered in the circus tent. And he even says it's a terrible thing to do, but it's Batman's obsession and that singular drive that keeps pushing those feelings back, where, you know, emotions have no room in Batman's world, here in Frank Miller's version of Batman. And there is nothing and there is nobody else that matters but that mission. And it's interesting the way this is reflected in my next page of panels, which is the one just over, and we see basically Robin's inner monologue. We've got Robin, who we know because of the history of Batman, that he is kind of like the boy detective. We know that in the years to come, in another universe, that he does become the Batman, because even now, even on this page, even though he's going through all the turmoil of losing his parents, that within his inner monologue, he's already seeing Batman for what he really is. That one, he's lonely. Two, he is himself in a lot of pain. And while Batman is torturing mentally Robin, inside Dick can see that Batman is indeed torturing himself. And as you go through these panels, you almost get the sense that Dick feels sorry for Batman, that there is this sorrow kind of element to this scene, but that's quickly drawn back as he is also aware of how dangerous the Bat is, how quickly this masked, cowled man can change just with a click of his fingers, and he knows he has to be careful about what he's saying. Not going to show it, but the final set of panels is Robin coming to the conclusion that he is going to join Batman in his fight against crime. But it's just interesting that these two panels, while really focusing on the same person, Batman, it just shows how each of them have approached that subject and how they deal with it given the circumstances that surrounds it.